Imagine one of the most expensive locations on Earth. A mansion worth $30 million, sitting on 7,500 square feet of prime real estate. It's been abandoned for 22 years, and nobody dares to buy it. This is Victoria Peak in Hong Kong, where billionaires live. But this house, it's been empty since 2004. International media call it Hong Kong's most haunted mansion. The Financial Times covered it. The Economist analyzed it. CNA Luxury did a special feature. Online, you'll find terrifying stories. Japanese soldiers beheading nuns. A lawyer drowning in a swimming pool. Owners dying under mysterious circumstances. Urban explorers claiming they heard crying, saw shadows moving in the windows. But what if I told you the truth is even more disturbing than any ghost story? Today, we're uncovering the real secret of Dragon Lodge. Dragon Lodge sits at 32 Lugard Road, on Victoria Peak, the most exclusive address in Hong Kong. Built in the 1920s, when Hong Kong was still a British colony. Back then, the peak was reserved for British officials and the wealthy elite. It offered the most spectacular views of Victoria Harbour. Dragon Lodge covered 7,500 square feet. A classic colonial mansion with white walls, wide verandas, surrounded by lush gardens. But in 1941, everything changed. The Japanese army invaded Hong Kong. For 3 years and 8 months, the city endured occupation. And this mansion, it was right in the middle of it. By the end of the war, Dragon Lodge's roof had collapsed. The place was in ruins. In 1945, a building contractor named Tom Man Long bought the property. He specialized in constructing mansions on the peak. So, he decided to rebuild Dragon Lodge himself. He lived there until 1952. After that, different owners came and went. In the 1960s, a lawyer named John Wimbush rented it. Later, a famous Hong Kong photographer owned it until 1996. Then, in 1996, a businessman named Fang Kapung purchased the Dragon Lodge for 180 million Hong Kong dollars. That's about $15 million, an astronomical price. But 8 years later, in 2004, he sold it at a massive loss. 76.28 million Hong Kong dollars. He lost over $5 million. Since then, Dragon Lodge has remained empty. 22 years. No residents, no buyers. A mansion worth millions in one of the world's most expensive locations, sitting vacant for over 2 decades. Why? If you search Dragon Lodge online, you'll find countless paranormal stories. And these stories, they're absolutely horrifying. The most famous one goes like this. During World War II, Japanese soldiers occupied Dragon Lodge. 7 Dutch nuns were hiding inside, but the soldiers discovered them. According to the legend, the soldiers beheaded all 7 nuns. Blood everywhere. Ever since then, people say the house has been haunted. They claim to have seen women in white, heard the nuns crying. But when the current owner's representative was asked about this story, his answer was simple. There's never been any evidence. Even more interesting, residents who live on the peak have pointed out that the beheading story actually refers to 29 Lugard Road, not number 32. No property records, no historical documents, no official sources ever mention Dragon Lodge and nuns in the same sentence. The second widely circulated story is about a lawyer. In 1984, John Wimbush, the lawyer who once rented Dragon Lodge, drowned in a swimming pool. At the time, he was involved in a massive financial scandal called the Carrion Case. Some say he took his own life. Others say he was silenced, and his ghost supposedly still haunts Dragon Lodge. But wait, Dragon Lodge doesn't have a swimming pool. According to a 1993 South China Morning Post report, John Wimbush drowned at Coombe Road, a different street, a different house, in a swimming pool there, not at Dragon Lodge. This is documented fact, court records, newspaper archives, but the online version, it ties his death to Dragon Lodge anyway. The third story claims that Dragon Lodge's owner went bankrupt and passed away inside the house. Some say he jumped, others say he took his own life by hanging. But property records show all owners sold the house through normal transactions. Nobody went bankrupt. Nobody passed away inside. In 1996, owner Jian Qingfu sold to Fang Kapong. Normal sale. In 2004, Fang sold to ASEAN International Development Company. Another normal sale. Yes, Fang lost $5 million, but he didn't go bankrupt, and he certainly didn't pass away in the house. Urban Explorers claims that at night, near Dragon Lodge, you can hear a little girl crying. Some say they've seen a girl in a white dress standing by the window. These stories are terrifying. But there's one problem. If all these paranormal events were real, why did nobody who lived there from the 1950s to the 1990s ever hear about them? According to Hong Kong historical website Gurulu, residents who lived on the peak in the 1950s say they never heard any ghost stories about Dragon Lodge. In the 1960s, when John Wimbush rented the place, no ghost stories. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, when photographer Jian Qingfu owned Dragon Lodge, nobody said it was haunted. So when did the ghost stories begin? The answer: the late 2000s. According to a 2021 Financial Times investigation, between 2008 and 2013, investors tried to acquire Dragon Lodge, but the owner refused to sell. Shortly after, ghost stories about Dragon Lodge began spreading widely. The owner's representative publicly stated that they suspect someone deliberately spread rumors to drive down the property value, forcing them to sell at a loss. The Financial Times used a very interesting phrase to describe Dragon Lodge: haunted by rumors. Not haunted by ghosts, but haunted by rumors. In 2024, The Economist featured Dragon Lodge when analyzing Hong Kong's property market. They called it a symbol of real estate trapped by rumors. Think about it. Every horror story has problems. Japanese soldiers beheading nuns. No evidence. Possibly refers to a different house. Lawyer drowning in a pool. He passed away at a different address. And Dragon Lodge has no pool. Owner going bankrupt. Property records show normal transactions. Crying little girl. Urban legend. No credible witnesses. How did these stories spread? Facebook groups, Reddit threads, YouTube urban exploration channels, travel websites. One person tells a story. 10 people share it. 100 people embellish it. One nun becomes 7. A lawyer's death at another house becomes Dragon Lodge. An owner losing. Money becomes bankruptcy and taking his own life. Eventually, nobody remembers the truth. Everyone just remembers Dragon Lodge is haunted. Dragon Lodge isn't a haunted house. It's a mansion killed by rumors. This is one of the most expensive locations on Earth. Neighboring mansions sell for hundreds of millions. But Dragon Lodge, it's been abandoned for 22 years. The real horror isn't ghosts. The real horror is how rumors can destroy something's value. In 1996, this house was worth 118 million Hong Kong dollars. In 2026, it should theoretically be worth much more. Property prices on Victoria Peak have skyrocketed, but nobody dares to buy it. Not because it's actually haunted, but because everyone believes it's haunted. The owner won't sell, because any sale means a massive loss. Buyers won't buy, afraid they can't resell it, or worried about what neighbors will think. Real estate agents don't want to touch it. The house's reputation is too damaged. And so, a multi-million-dollar mansion becomes a toxic asset. Ironically, the more international media reports on Hong Kong's most haunted mansion, the deeper the legend becomes in public consciousness. The reports intended to reveal the truth, but their headlines and content actually reinforced the haunted house image. Dragon Lodge's story reminds us of something important. In this age of information overload, rumors can travel faster and farther than truth. A baseless story, if it's scary enough, sensational enough, can destroy a house, a reputation, even a life. So, is Dragon Lodge haunted? Scientifically, no evidence whatsoever. Historically, every legend falls apart under scrutiny. But in the public's mind, it will always be a haunted house. The real question is, are you brave enough to challenge a legend with facts? If you enjoy this investigative content, remember to subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment. Do you believe in ghosts, or do you believe in rumors? We'll see you next time.